start by talking about something that has been dominating minds for quite some time. Does your security guard in your building judge you for the number of online orders that reach your apartment? How disappointed do you feel every time you miss out on a great shopping offer online or a sale that is going on? Do you have a mountain of clothes lying in your closet with absolutely no use? Do you feel compelled to shop even when you know that you don't need it? Well, if these are signs that you are showing, then maybe you are a victim of online shopping addiction. But fear not, on this program, we don't just talk about giving you the red flags and giving you a reality check. We actually have some solutions. But first, let's look at online shopping that may have started as somewhat of a convenience for many, especially post the pandemic, but now turning into a habit, a compulsive habit for millions of consumers in India, even those in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Let's start by diving into some numbers first. How much does India really shop online? Well, based on several reports, about 12.5 crore consumers in India have shopped online for the first time ever since they continued and, since they started doing it, and they've managed to continue and keep that habit. According to also a survey conducted by PwC, consumers primarily from the Tier 2, Tier 3, even 4 cities differ in digital literacy, infrastructure, social, cultural factors, and from the urban populace who are accustomed to shopping online. And more than 60% of the surveys responded prefer to shop using an app rather than using any website. They also have talked about how there is a clear preference for marketplace apps since they cater to many categories. 50% of the consumers in metros and Tier 1 cities value quick deliveries, while others, for about 54% of consumers in Tier 2, Tier 3 and 4 cities, deals and offers take precedence. But what we are really telling you with all these statistics and numbers is the fact that online shopping has arrived, picked up and become a habit in India. Like how? Whether we like it or not, we are constantly scrolling on our phones, and with that we are also pressing in on those ads, also buying and making some impulsive, sometimes, most times, bad choices. So before we get into this program, we got out on the streets of Mumbai, and this is our colleague Yesha who went on to speak to some shopaholics. These are their confessions.
I almost shop every month, and it's more like it depends on the weather also. So it's like dresses, if it's winter, then sweatshirts and all of that.
Dresses for sure, anything, whatever I like, I'll shop, but just shopping is must.
If I go somewhere and I like something, I'll shop. But sometimes, if I scroll something on Instagram and I like it, I'll shop it online.
If I need something urgently, I will have to step out and go, otherwise it's online, always. Definitely twice a month. It's an obsessive disorder.
It's an obsessive disorder, say some of those girls over there. I like how most of the case studies he found were actually women. So what's happening there is actually also a story we must explore. But let's talk to an actual case study. Let's take confessions of another shopaholic. She is 26-year-old Diksha Gupta from Delhi. Joins us now. She's a media professional herself. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Diksha. My first question really to you is that do you call yourself a shopaholic? Do you know that this problem exists?
I think I do. The realization also hasn't always been there. And I don't know. Initially, I used to just take it jokingly because, every time my online shopping orders would show up, and it's very regular in my family here, where they'll keep joking that whenever there's any Amazon or Myntra guy coming in, they'll be like, yeah, of course it'll be for her. So I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know, but let us understand this a little bit, and these are slightly questions we want to deep dive into. Tell us, how much are you on an average of your salary spending on shopping every month? How much percentage of it actually goes into shopping?
I think I can easily say from what I earn, 50% of it goes into shopping. And I mean, okay, you make me feel terrible when you look at me like that. But yeah, but 50% of it goes into shopping. But I don't know if I have to justify my spending, then uh, I would say even in that 50%, most of it is retail shopping, what I shop for myself. But some of the
Yeah,
percent
yeah.
also goes into like, just buying things, maybe gifting. Maybe it's a birthday in the
Okay,
family, or but it's not
okay,
every month if
okay.
I practically think about it.
Can I just clarify that was not a judgment look at all. I was just amazed. I was just a little amazed at that number of 50% going into shopping. But Diksha, help me understand this. A lot of it you're saying is not for yourself. So what compels you to shop? Can you describe to me the feeling? Or is it excitement that you got a good deal? Is it excitement that you got on top of the latest trend? Like what is it? What keeps bringing you back to your shopping experience?
I would say, to be honest, it's just convenience because online shopping makes it so convenient, right? And I mean, discounts and everything, they obviously also have like an even major role to play. I mostly shop on Myntra and Zara. Like these two are my go-to favorite apps. And to be honest, I would like Zara only has discounts or any sale. I don't know, I think twice or thrice in a year. I shop regardless. I just I love their collection. I love to shop, so I do. And to your first question, like what do I get out of it? Why I shop so much? I don't know. It's just like I said, online shopping has made it so convenient. Let's say, for example, if online shopping didn't exist, and if I had to every weekend go physically to the mall, maybe I wouldn't have been a shopaholic. But I think people also increasingly becoming shopaholic because it's only like a click away. So why not? Like, might as well indulge in it. What's the harm?
Okay. So when you say what's the harm, you mean if you don't like it, you send it back. So it's the whole experience of just buying something, getting it over, and then seeing whether you like it or not. It's sort of a scrolling addiction more than a shopping addiction then.
Could be, yes. I'm just realizing, yeah, it could also be that. Like so far, I've just been telling myself it's retail therapy. But yeah, you're right. I think sometimes when I see that I'm overspending, when sometimes it like peaks up even like more than 50% of my salary, I'm like, that is all going into shopping. I do delete these apps and I see it making a difference. And then when I see, I justify it to myself saying it's fine, like I'm not a shopaholic. I get these apps back.
Okay, okay. Last question then. Have you seen this movie called Confessions of a Shopaholic? They describe the feeling of shopping something as the clothes calling for you. They go flying out to the to the protagonist in the movie, and she says, "It's not me. I can't stop because they're really calling for me. They need me. It's not her need, but it's the need of the clothes." Is that the feeling that you get out of a shopping experience?
Well, with not every order that I make, but some where I know that this is way too expensive and it really is not. Like, I know I can get it cheaper, but sometimes I'm just like, A, it is convenient. Second, I know I want to get this, and like I'll only be happier if I get this, so I don't overthink it. I'll just place my order.
Okay. Okay, all right then, Diksha. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with us. And can I just say, you're not alone. There are so many like you who will identify with what you're saying right now. That is why we wanted really, it to come out and tell your story. But let's understand this in a little bit more detail, understand what this really meant. We have Dr. Alisha Lalji with us in the studio. She's a psychologist. And Alisha, just listen to this. There are so many like Diksha out there who today, when I ask her if you're a shopaholic, she tells me, I'm not sure, but this is what I do and it's convenient and I like it, so I just do it. So, can you firstly identify for us who is a shopaholic and who is not? Like, where is the Lakshman Rekha there?
So we call it a shopaholic when it is repetitive, the amount spent increase or it's at an ascent every week. You're buying stuff that you absolutely don't need. You're going to hoard it. You're not going to use it. You're not going to discard it. And yet at the same time, there is this compulsion in you when you can't stop. So there's a vicious cycle. There's an urge. After there's an urge, I'm doing a lot of research at different platforms. After that, I purchase and shop again. And it's a cycle that doesn't end. Now, when we talk about genders, there isn't a lot of difference. So if we see it, 6% of the female population is said to be addicted to shopping. And it's 5.5, which is the male population. But if we compare in terms of the amount spent, it is said that the amount spent by men is a far larger amount than the amount spent.
Because it's gadgets.
Because it's gadgets and accessories, but in comparison, for women, it would be probably shoes, clothes, and bags.
That's an interesting insight. So what you're essentially saying is that it doesn't matter then that, gender doesn't really play a role. It could be different items, but the urge remains the same. So which brings me to the question that I was trying to understand from Diksha as well, that where is this coming from? Is there some sort of void within that people are filling up with shopping? Or is the shopping itself leading to some sort of isolation?
I think shopping is basically a reaction to an underlying problem, which could either be an anxiety, it could be depression, a mood problem, an inferiority, or probably even obesity. Shopping is a reaction. There is an underlying problem which is far bigger. It's sometimes probably the fact that I didn't have this as a child and I always wanted it. Let me go ahead and buy this for myself. Or everyone around me has it, I should buy it for myself. Or there's a certain bracket that I want to fit in society. Or I have peers and there's a certain amount of peer pressure and I will go ahead and indulge.
Right.
Like Disha rightly said, it's easy, it's convenient. So basically it's easy, it's convenient, there are options and there are offers. And that's when someone is not able to control the
So
urge.
essentially, it's the instant dopo hit, right? It's
Exactly.
the dopamine hit
Yes,
that you
yes.
get every time you make a purchase.
Right.
And because these days there are several deals and there is return and exchange in your head, you find reasons to justify.
Yes, absolutely. And also, it's this typical excitement of unwrapping a box that gives you that hit. So what you technically need to do is search for other options that give you that typical dopamine hit that an Amazon parcel would give you. So you need to search for better and healthier options that probably are even easy on your budget.
Yeah. Okay, so we've identified this problem a little bit. Let's sort of get into the solutions then. So how do we do this, Alisha? If somebody who's watching this right now and is identifying themselves as somebody who could have a potential, it's like everything in life, it's a spectrum, right?
Right.
Even a shopaholic is going to be a spectrum. You could be very early in the spectrum or could be very
Absolutely.
high. It depends on how you identify yourself,
Correct.
right? So if you are somewhere in the spectrum, what should you do? What is the best way to get out of this?
I think the first thing you need to figure is where on the spectrum you are, mild, moderate or severe in terms of a shopaholic. And for any problem, I think the first solution is acceptance that yes, I have a problem and I need to deal with it better. After that, what are my triggers? Why am I actually doing it? Am I doing it because I'm low? Am I doing it because I'm bored? Am I doing it because people around me are doing it? What are my typical triggers? Identifying that is very important. Once you've identified your triggers, there are certain ways in which you can curb yourself. Now, if you're able to do it on your own, I think that's brilliant. If you can't, it's good to ask someone to help you monitor yourself in terms of the budgeting.
I see.
Or just keep track of what I'm doing. That's really going to help.
Okay.
Apart from that, I think the bank balance is something that will get to you at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And even if you're not low, it's going to make you feel horrible.
Yeah.
So to keep track of that, I suggest to a lot of patients as well that don't have your bank details saved on any of your platforms.
Basically, don't make it easy.
Don't make it easy. See, it's so much easier when you just have an OTP generated to you and I feed in that and then shop. In comparison to typing out all those digits on my card, it's going to take so much more time. So don't make it easy. That's one thing. Apart from that, reward yourself each time you're not doing it. Give yourself something that will make you feel better. Keep something onto your cart for at least 48 hours. See if you actually need it. So
But you know, there was another person, we were doing this experiment online, and we asked a couple of our, TBC followers to sort of come back to us and tell us what shopping addiction meant to them. And there was this one very interesting comment. This woman wrote to me and said that, I don't buy, I don't think I have an addiction. I keep putting stuff in my cart, and one fine day when I'm really angry or upset, I go and buy it all. That's my impulse. And I justify it by saying that I'm in a bad mood, I deserve something good. How do you see that?
in terms of just going ahead and saying I
Yeah.
need it, I think what you need to do is even set a limit to the budget, to the number of items, and probably fix just one day a week. And then you reduce. If there's someone, we call it an addiction when it's probably multiple number of times a day or a week. So you need to have certain tabs for that, because then otherwise a person, I've had patients who've spent above 5 lakhs a month.
Wow.
And there's no limit, there's no way in which you can stop.
Right. Let me ask you this then, and something that Diksha also sort of, touched upon while we were trying to understand and get some answers out of her. Is just the scrolling addiction leading to a lot of this? Because retail therapy is different from online addiction, and a lot of people don't know where to draw the line, right? But just the ease of scrolling, and what is it leading to? Let me buy this. Is that also part or maybe the genesis of the problem here?
No, I feel that retail therapy is something very different. Retail therapy is, I've had a great week, I've done a lot of good work, and I need to reward myself. Let me just go ahead and buy something. Retail therapy would also be that I've needed 5 things for myself. Maybe a few of them are expensive. Let me go ahead and buy 2 things for myself. That is retail therapy. A shopping addiction is when I'm probably buying things that are absolutely bizarre. I'm never going to need it, never going to use it. But it's just an impulsive decision to just go there and purchase. And this would never stop. This would be the smallest of items that probably I would not even unpack. So that is when it would be an addiction, not otherwise. So I don't think there's a lot of scrolling that's responsible, but it's also a lot of marketing techniques and advertisements that make it so catchy for you that you can't stop.
Yeah.
And also the fact that there are offers and options, like I said. So that's something that we don't know where to actually draw the line.
Yeah. Yeah, well, marketers will continue to do what they do. I think brands will continue to do what they have to do. We have to understand why we are feeling this void to sort of fill
Yes.
it with items outside, and we got to understand what really gives us pleasure.
Yes.
Is that one box coming to your apartment every other day, or is it going to be some meaningful connections and conversations? So, like this one. So,
Yes.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so
Alisha,
much for having me.
Breaking it down
Thank
for
you
us.
so much.
All right, we hope that was a little bit of a help and made you understand what this entire shopping addiction is all about. If you have some pointers for us, if you have thoughts to share, please write it to us with your feedback. We love to hear from you.